Hey guys, Jacqueline here. I am still partially in my uniform because I've been up since 3:45 this morning, and I figured if I didn't get home and make a video right away, you weren't going to get one for a while. I'm exhausted, ready for bed, but it's going to be a video full of information. It is a redo of what to expect in flight attendant training, and I'm choosing to redo it because my eyes were cut out of the last one. The editing didn't work at all. None of the information is going to be different. It's all going to be the same. And if you didn't watch the last one, you're not missing out on anything. All right? So here we go. The job of a flight attendant is not serving drinks, smiling, loading luggage into the overhead bin, and waving goodbye to people as they get off the airplane. It's a huge misconception. There's so much more to us than that, and that's what training focuses on. Our number one job as flight attendants is safety. During training, it's a 4 to 6 week program, depending on what company hires you and what their training looks like. I was lucky I had that 4-week program, but it was also all of the same information in a 6-week training class crammed in to 4 weeks. And it's insane. It's information overload, but if it's something that you're passionate about, the information is going to stick with you. It is fun. You will survive. I promise. It's 4 to 6 weeks, month and a half of your life, but you're going to walk away with new friends and an awesome job as a flight attendant. So stick with it. Now, in the 4 weeks that I was in flight attendant training, I can say we spent maybe an hour and a half training on food and beverage service. The first time I actually took a credit card and swiped it in the little machine is when I sold a drink that was not complimentary on board. So that whole process was a little awkward at first, but you catch on really quick. Basic human skills, right guys? Right. Okay. So the safety that I'm talking about, well, the biggest thing on the airplane would be better English, making sure that the passengers are safe, that the flight crew is safe, and that you don't blow a door, or blow a slide when you open the door, rather. So what blowing a slide means is when you're preparing, hopefully you guys are listening, but when you're preparing to leave, you hear the flight attendant come on the PA, they'll say, "Flight attendants, prepare for departure and cross-check." You are clipping the slide into the plane door. This way, if the door opens, the slide goes boom, you have something to jump down. Now let me tell you, it's always a bad situation if it comes down to that, because 1, you had an emergency situation and you're evacuating the plane, or 2, you accidentally blew a slide and you're probably going to lose your job. You're definitely going to lose your job because it costs $75,000 to repack those slides so those planes are good to go again. So you never want this to happen. In the 4 weeks of training, we spent a ton of time practicing how to properly arm and disarm doors, when you should open them, what you should look for, little mantras you say in your head just to make sure you and your coworkers are safe on that plane and you're not blowing a door. Another thing I brought up, evacuations. If something goes wrong and you do have to evacuate the aircraft, you have about 90 seconds to get 200 plus people off the plane safely. Now, once that happens, you learn how to train how to survive in the elements. So desert situations, extreme heat, if you have to ditch the plane, which means it's a landing in water, so you have to safely evacuate all of those people. That's why you should pay attention when we're doing our safety demonstrations and teach you how to use the seat cushion or the life vest as a flotation device. These things happen, miracle on the Hudson. Give us 3 minutes of your time, not a big deal. Another aspect of training is all of the medical related stuff we learned. We had to learn how to do CPR, how to do the Heimlich maneuver, which I know it's not called the Heimlich anymore, but if someone's choking, you make them not choke by get whatever they're choking on out of their body by doing chest compressions and things like that. So it's not called the Heimlich, the style is the same, the family doesn't want to use the name, whatever. We also learn how to use an AED. So if someone has cardiac issues, we can shock their heartbeat back into a regular rhythm. We learn how to deal with diabetic emergencies. If someone passes out, faints, heat stroke, low blood sugar, after evacuations, there's a lot of blood that could potentially be involved. So you learn how to ease the bleeding, make sure other passengers, other crew members aren't getting contaminated by that. You learn how to treat burns, and overall just assess if passengers are healthy to fly or not. And if they're not, and they get on the plane and you're not on the ground, you learn how to take care of them once you're airborne. So training is 4 weeks of cramming so much information into your head. And it's so much different than what the general public thinks. I think flight attendants don't get enough respect, and that's why I'm making this video. This way you guys know what we do. Or for you trainees who have reached out to me, this way you know what to expect when you are going into flight attendant training. A couple tips that I have for you guys. Study at the hotel with other people who are in the same situation as you. If you're lucky enough that you live in the state that the training is taking place in, go to the hotel anyways and study with the people who are from out of town. Only they can relate to how intense the training is. Only they understand exactly what you're going through. Sure, your friends, family, boyfriends, girlfriends, whoever it is, knows that you are in class 12 hours a day, every single day, and then you come home from class and you study probably 2 hours a night on average, I'd say is safe. But only people who are living that life know exactly what it's about. So get to know your classmates. They're a great source of people who you can rely on. You can bounce questions off of each other, ideas off of each other, and just have a better understanding of how training works, what it means to be a flight attendant. And if you do have questions, you have that many more people who could help you. A few other tips I have: eat healthy. During the beginning of the training, I would just throw whatever I could in my lunchbox. And I got sick, so I didn't have energy. And when you don't have energy, your mind's not really all there. And to pass flight attendant training, you do have to get a 90% or above on every single test. If you score less than 90%, you're dismissed from the program. And when you're dismissed from the program, it means you do not have a job as a flight attendant, and your little heart breaks, your world comes crashing down, and that's probably the worst thing that I could ever imagine going through. So happy that I was dedicated, and luckily my classmates were too. A lot of people who started in my training did finish, but we lost 11 people, I think was the final count. So these things happen. You're going to start, 50 people, you'll graduate 39. It's just a reality. You have to be dedicated. So be healthy. This way you pay attention. This way you have energy to stay up at night and study, and then you can run on the 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours of sleep if you're lucky that you get. Couple more pointers for you. Military time is a huge thing. Day 1 of training, we were quizzed on airport codes. We had to memorize like 130 of them. We had to memorize military time, which is super easy. Just set your phone to military time now. This way you get used to looking at it. A couple other things we had to memorize were air carrier codes. So we had to know the airline that we were working for, as well as our friends in the sky. And we had to know the safety demonstration. So that whole long spiel that we give: ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard this flight number to this destination. Here's how you buckle your seatbelt. Here's how you put the oxygen masks on. If things go bad, don't freak out. You had to memorize that. And the first thing you did when you walked through the door, sign in your name, prove that you were there on time. Then you get pulled into a room and you memorize, I think it was like 2.5 minutes. You give that speech verbatim. So that's test number 1. Anytime they tell you to study, any information they send you before training, read it, study it, take it seriously. Now, this is a lot of information that you guys are getting too, but it's the reality of what our job is. It's not just smiling, serving snacks, serving sodas, and sending people on with their day. We are the go-to if things happen to go wrong on a flight. God forbid, knock on wood right there. But, as intense as it is, training is so much fun. Like, you will miss it when you're done. You'll miss all the group of friends that you made, your instructors. But, just listen, pay attention. If it's something that you're passionate about, the information's going to stick. You're going to love your job, I promise. Leave any questions, comments, suggestions, whatever you want in the comments below. I'll respond as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.